Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, just tuning in through our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast. We're glad you all could be with us as well. We're excited to welcome back to our program Janice McLean DeLoatch. You guys know her because she's not only a noted songwriter, author, and media personality, but she's also the executive producer and founder of an event that's taking place this month. It's the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame. We're excited to talk to Janice not only about the development of the Hall of Fame for songwriters, but also what it's been like for her to be able to honor these women and their body of work and let you guys know a little bit about what to expect this year and how you can be a part of it as well. Janice, glad to have you back on with us. Really appreciate the time.
Hi, and thank you for having me. And Cyrus, I absolutely love you, so you know anywhere you go, I will follow.
I appreciate that. Well, Janice, you've been on the show before, but we had not talked about the Women Songwriters Hall of Fame. It's appropriate we're talking about it now for a lot of different reasons. One, of course, the event is this month. This month, of course, is also all about recognizing the impact of black music. But you also are a songwriter yourself, Janice. So how does it feel to be able to not only to be able to recognize these women songwriters, but also to make sure that they know that their body of work is appreciated?
Wow, this is amazing. It is an absolutely amazing feeling, and that whenever anybody creates anything, whether it's a pizza or it's a birthday cake or a movie or music, we all love the feeling of knowing that other people enjoy something that we've created, and the success and the support and the people who are stepping up to offer hand, to make donations, and just really figure out how we can unite to celebrate these women for the inaugural Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame is just really overwhelming and just so awe-inspiring and awesome. I mean, I'm just really elated by all the love and the show of support that we're receiving for this.
Yeah. And I think, too, for people, and we're going to, again, give them all the details here, Janice, I think it goes to, for one, seeing a need and feeling that need. That's a part of who you are, I think, anyway. As I mentioned, you not only are a songwriter yourself, but also, you know what it's like for people to be in an industry and for the male counterparts to get attention that the female counterparts did not. So talk to us about the need that you saw that made you want to create the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Okay, so I do a radio show on Radio 1 Network, WOLB. It's called It's Janice. And for the month of April, I looked at the music industry. And in particular, we looked at some of the greatest songs that had been written. And when I looked at a number of those songs, this was about 2 years ago, but we really didn't get to talk about it on the radio show until 2020 because COVID-19 had a lot of people sitting home rethinking and refiguring what we were going to do moving forward. So I just kind of started to review some old things that I had some ideas about years ago, and this was one of them. And so as I'm doing the research and looking at the people who were creating these number one songs, what I realized was most of them, 90% of them had been created by women as co-writers or co-contributors. Now, granted, my shows are about women in small business and innovation creation, so most of the things that I do would tend to be women-related. But this particular instance, it was in music and songwriting, and it just spoke to me about a pattern of all these women who had really, these great songs and were songwriters on them, but a lot of people didn't know that. So that's kind of how it came about.
And the body of honorees for this year, is really, it's a who's who list. Talk to us about that, Janice. What was that like for you, for one, to narrow down those who you wanted to be able to induct this year, but also to kind of look at their body of work?
Oh, my goodness. Well, one I can tell you was Denise Williams. And when So the selection process, let me just start there. This is our first year, so primarily it came out of a discussion of other people who were songwriters whose opinions I respected greatly, and I know that they knew the business and they not just music, but just entertainment, period. And we made a long list of women songwriters, and then we made a short list, and then we did it by number one grossing songs, and then we did it by type of the genre of the songs. And so that's kind of how this year went, because it's like most of 2020 and 2021 has not been absolutely in the normal process that would usually happen. Right. So that was kind of the way that it was done this time. But moving forward, we are in the process of looking for people who will be part of our board, who will be help with selection process and selection criteria. We will also open it up to the public to be able to vote for some of the people that we nominate. And so moving forward, there will be a whole other process in place that will help us further identify women that have been left out of these conversations. We know a lot of these names because they're popular, but I can tell you there are some like Vanessa Calloway, who is Cab Calloway's sister. She was also a band leader and a songwriter in her own right. And what people don't know, I'm guessing maybe the majority of people don't know, is that she did a lot of the songs for Cab Calloway. And then you have, the trumpeter, Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong's wife was also a band leader. She was actually kind of banned from going to clubs because she had an all-male band, as a matter of fact, and she was very strong in her own lane, and, I guess, the powers that be at that time didn't like that. So she had to write under Louis' banner, which is why people think that he wrote a lot of those songs, but actually a number of them came from her. So we'll identify facts like that and present and just kind of give these women their time, too, because a lot of them have been left out of the conversation. And really, when one thing also, too, that the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame will do, and by the way, it's womensongwritershalloffame.org if people want to look it up while I'm talking. What we will also do is identify new songwriters and do workshops and help create them, but we're going to study the industry of publishing. We're going to study CEO labels and CEO heads of record companies and music companies and publishing companies, and also promoters. So this year our honorees include Dr. Verl Howard. They include Dawn Lewis, Naomi Judd, the Go-Go's, Roberta Flack, Valerie Simpson, Mary Chapin Carpenter. Oh my gosh, there's so many that I just keep. Climax. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just kind of my brain just goes sideways a little bit and I forget.
I get it.
Bunny Hall. My goodness, Bunny Hall is one of those ones that you just didn't even know. She wrote a lot of the music for Eddie Murphy's movies, the Beverly Hills soundtrack, Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack movies. Bunny Hall wrote a lot of that. She also wrote a lot of stuff by Angela Bofield and Stacey Lattisaw, but you don't know her name. But a lot of these number one songs came from Bunny Hall. So we have these really great women, and so we're looking at lifting up their names and their legacies and helping people support the work that they've done, which has really been amazing in so many cases. And just really kind of lobbying to level the playing field so that women not only are seen and heard, but paid what they're worth. And it's just time,
We're going to get more into some of the other things that are taking place. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome back to our program today Janice McLean DeLoatch. We're talking with her not only about what it's been like for her in her own right to be able to find success as a songwriter, author, and media personality, but she's also the executive producer and founder of something that's taking place this month. It's June 25th. That is the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. And as you heard her mention, we're going to be giving out the website there as well. You mentioned something I want to go back to, because I think this is an important. Not only are you going to be recognizing these powerful women songwriters, Janice, but as you said, you also are going to have resources there for developing new songwriting talent through the workshops you mentioned, even scholarships. Why was that important for you to not only make sure these women knew the impact that they had made was being recognized, but why was it also important for you to recognize those who were trying to enter the arena?
Okay, wow. Okay, Cyrus, wonderful. Good question. Okay, here's the answer. So initially I started out in music. That was really my first love. It still is, all kinds of music. And the strangest thing about me, because people look at me and they think, oh, he's probably not, but I'm really love rap music, right? So I'm into rap music. I like rock music. I like gospel music. I mean, I love all of it. And so initially in my early days, I wrote music, and most of it was pop crossover music. In fact, one of my songs, I'm a Dick, was supposed to be on The Wire for HBO, and, so that's another whole story. But anyway, that's how I got into it. And if you really just, but I also remember at the time when I was songwriting, it was so hard to gain access to people to show me the way, to open the door, or which I do believe we have to get back to doing. And I'm sorry if anybody's going to be offended by what I'm getting ready to say, but we have become a society of me, 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 me. And I understand we all have to survive, and maybe it sounds hokey, or I'm living in la la land, but we can do it, and we can do things that are so simple and so basic, just to help somebody, that won't cost us much. In some cases, nothing. And I don't know, we've just gotten away from that. Because I remember when I was trying to get started and just trying to get writers and trying to get information, and what I will also say is most of the people that I was asking for help were men. And I'm not male bashing, so let me be clear about that, because I love the men, let me just tell you, right? But, and then you had the women who were so guarded by what they had that they were not willing to share or tell me anything. So I for the most part, I got lost in the mix. And I feel like even today that's still happening. And so if I can figure out a way to help other women, and not just women, men too, because there are some programs that we'll do that'll be open for everybody, not just for women. But this came about because women have been left out of the conversation for almost 50-plus years, and then some. So we will reach back and do scholarships and find ways to give money and grants and mentor other women and help open those doors and help them elevate to the next level. And I'm hoping some of these honorees will come back and partner with us to do so. But I also want to point out Dawn Lewis. My goodness. Oh, my gosh. I see Dawn Lewis in a whole new lane. She stepped up and offered 3 $2,000 scholarships for high school girls who want to pursue a career in music as a writer, songwriter, composer, or just in the music industry in general. And if you go online and, check out our website, you'll see information about that. But, I mean, come on, Dawn Lewis did it. She just man, I'm sorry. So you hear East Baltimore coming out now. But she did it. She said, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Here are 3 $2,000 scholarships. And you can go online to Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame, or if you send us an email, we'll send you the link where you can go and apply by June the 19th. They'll be awarded this year, our inaugural year, at the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame that's happening at the National Women's Museum of the Arts in Washington, D.C., from 5 to 9 p.m. So go online, get your tickets. You can even get Zoom. If you can't come to D.C., we got Zoom available, too. So you go online to Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame.org and purchase your tickets, and I hope you'll tune in. But I just think she stepped up and she did something that's really, 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 really amazing and important, and it also shows about, the direction that we're going to move in to help change the conversation and help, open some doors for women. So that's just really great. But that's also something we want to do as well, too, which we will moving forward.
Yeah. So, again, the event is coming up, as you heard Janice mention, on June the 25th. Definitely head over to Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame.org. Again, that's Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame.org. For those joining us through iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, we'll make sure that we link that up for you guys, make it easy for you. but you can be able to attend in person or virtually there to be able to get your ticket. Again, it's going to be taking place, as you heard Janice also mention, at the Museum of Women and the Arts in Washington, D.C. So a great opportunity for you to not only be able to visit that great place, but also to be a part of a great event there as well. Janice, glad that we could have you back on. Excited about this for you and all that you're doing, not only with this in this amazing group of women songwriters, but also just in setting the example. Because I think, one of the things that you said that I think really stands out in this conversation is if you see a need, do what you can to fill it. You saw a need there with these women songwriters not getting the recognition they deserve, and you were able to create something now to be able to honor them, and I know they appreciate that. And looking forward to having you back on the program again.
I love you. You know that. I love you, love you. Thank you, Cyrus. Thank you, guys. Thank y'all.
And love you too, Janice. And we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.